still trying to grapple with what is probably the longest day of my life. We drove 18 hours straight. So here's this construction zone, and we just parked there, and no one seems to care. So, yeah, that's cool. There's no, like, you'll be towed. There's nobody freaking out in a hard hat. This one's from Blake. This is called a Mexican tow. Okay, we'll check it out. Thank you. Gracias. What was your name? Mario. Once you make the decision to stand up for something, and once you're committed, then the cost comes. It takes its toll, and you've got to be willing to say, okay, you know what? Some things are worth the cost. There's a huge amount of power if people start saying, no, I won't even play your way. I opt out. You're not the law. You're not a judge. You're not law enforcement. You're not an attorney. You're not a lawyer. Our system of justice in the USA is not presenting law. They're not arguing law. They're not giving trials. The cops perjure the arrest and the charges, and the prosecutors perjure. The prostitute judges, they back it up, and they send an order of force out to put you in there. You know what? So it's time that society started telling these psychopaths, you're insane, and I won't take part in it. Dozen tacos, cooked over coals. With all the fixings, we're just gonna show you here. We're gonna do this in real time. I'm just gonna grab that guy and just kind of go to town with it and call it good. So first night, actually slept amazing last night. It was very nice to sleep in a place, sleeping in a place where you're essentially, for the most part, out of reach of your own psychotic government. I'll be honest, I mean, this is scary, not because traveling is not something I'm not used to. In fact, the fact that we had an RV set up, the fact that we were able to load up and be on the road in less than 24 hours, the fact that we do a lot of traveling and kind of bug out, that worked. But at the same time, found this big empty lot, and we just parked here. Nobody's bothered us outside of Veracruz. We're gonna head down more south today, I think. Maybe find some ocean, you know, and just kind of wind down. It has been a very stressful, well, year in general, but a very stressful past 5 years, a very stressful week for sure. My brother and his wife came down here recently, so I met up with them. They actually speak the language way better than us. But you know what? I ordered tacos last night using a translation app on my phone. So there's tools, right? There's tools. So I'm gonna be perfectly candid. There's almost like a little bit of a kind of depression feeling not because it's not cool. I mean, I wanted to come here anyhow and explore, but this feeling of like, well, I'm kind of an exile, and I can't really go home to my house and to my business because that's disturbing. Look, I mean, I love my country. I want people to be free, and we've been working to that end for a long time, and it's so hard up there to get people free. Guys, if you could see the infrastructure that was set up to leave our country, we're talking Third Reich kind of infrastructure to leave the country that's been set in place. And you can't even imagine how relieved we were when we got out. They're setting up, you know, gates and stations and 90-degree turns on the roads and the walls and the gates and all the stuff. It's to keep us in the USA inside the biggest prison in the world, where we are literally slaves and we do what we're told or we're killed. What do you guys want to do today? You guys want to go find a beach?
Yeah, I want to go to the beach day.
What'd you guys find?
I kind of...
We We found a machine, Titus. Want to come look?
And I found a key.
What I keep thinking is, man, if other people, you know, we're blessed because we were able to get the van, right, in the RV, and there's a lot of resources for just kind of living off the land in there. But a time is coming very shortly. First of all, most people aren't that well equipped. They're not that well prepared. Second of all, a time's coming shortly where you're going to be lucky to escape with the clothes on your back. As much people and junk as in here, we got crowded in here. I think we're like authentic Mexicans. It's like the guy they pulled over is leaving already. Or did he run away? Looks like he ran away. Little beach time. Got the van out here. Yes. We're looking for seafood.
You want me to get out and like?
No, do not get out. Gracias. We shall find the seafood. Is that a road or am I going off an edge?
It's a road. Sort of.
Wow. Okay, I'm gonna turn some brighter lights on.
They're probably like, that is one crazy gringo. Yeah.
You might climb up there, just be careful, okay? Hello, lady. Little time out in the cabana here. What is this, like day 3 or 4, getting settled in, but there's work to be done here. The message must go on. Tons of emails from you guys with support, and I really appreciate that. It means a lot. Unfortunately, the state of lawlessness, you know, I get a lot of emails saying, well, you need to file this, or you need to do that, or you need to not recognize the court in this way. And I think, well, you know, I mean, in an ideal situation, if there was law, it would work. But there's not law in our courts, and so there's no winning by filing paperwork or using magic words. I mean, if they really want you, they want you. So we have to look at other options and be a loud and principled and resounding voice. You use the land. It's normal for there to be cows on the road. In fact, we were driving down the interstate yesterday, and the cows were grazing in the mediums. And so while the Bundys go to prison for grazing their cattle, here people live. And there's the little police station, mucho less hostile than ours. But that doesn't mean the community idolizes them, and that's important. We stopped in there last night to ask a question, and I guess they live there. Like one comes to the door and he's holding his AR, not in a threatening way, he's just got it in his hand. The other cop comes to the door with no shirt on. This is how I envision myself speaking Spanish. Hosanda coladando contra Gregos. See? And that means nothing, as far as I know. This is more like how I actually speak Spanish. Oh, no comprendo. Gracias? I'm just cruising down the beach with my little buddy on the one wheel. Say hi, little buddy. Cruising. We are nearly a week into Mexico. And I think the first thing that really stands out to me, and I mean this, is they have so much more freedom than the people of the United States that it's mind-boggling. A Mexican person will go up to California and they'll have a little food cart and the police will be beating them or stealing their product or stealing their money. And down here, the reason that's happening is because they have so much freedom down here that if you want to go start a little food cart, or your son wants to buy a moped and do a delivery service, you just do it. In the United States, everybody's expected to do as they're told by government. Here, government does make rules, government does have corruption, but people have an independent thought. people say no. This is why we get away with saying America's so much better, because we have more stuff. We have shinier things. Our buildings are pretty, our infrastructure is more, but that has come at a great price. That socialism that makes everything beautiful and pretty has cost us our freedom. Places like Mexico, who for the most part refuse to get involved in foreign wars, who have stricter regulations on their prisons and sentences and abusing people, who have a fraction of the prison population of the United States, whose police kill a fraction of the civilians that the United States. But there's tenacity in the people. Yesterday we drove through a toll booth. And there were these tolls on the road, and they handed us a flyer. The locals had taken over the toll booth because they say this toll booth is unconstitutional, we have a right to travel. They go to the toll booths and they tell the people operating the toll booths, you leave, get out of the toll booth. And then when people come through, they hand out their flyers and they wave us through, and no one gets arrested, no one gets shot. I mean, huge.
Where's go seafood?
Camarón shrimp. Huge shrimp, amazing. $6 for the whole thing. Like, you wouldn't see this in the USA, guys, because there's so much restrictions, and the restrictions are not actually to protect the environment or the people. The restrictions are to protect the big corporations, the big dollar people. So in the States, you wouldn't see all these little guys just going out in their boats and having an industrious, profitable business.
These little boats are commercial industrial fish packing factories just down the street.
Yeah, and so this is the industry here. Look, with what I do, the stress is always there. It's been a long time since I felt this laid back, since I felt like somebody's not about to lock me in a prison. We just got crazy stuck out here on the beach, but some of the locals, we got through the language, and the locals helped us. Buenas tardes! Buenas noches! And they took care of us. We even tried to pay them, but they didn't want to be paid.
Collecting money for a kid that has cancer.
Hola! Buenas tardes. They're seeing if Nathan can ride a motorcycle. No matter how good of a hearted person you are, when you don't speak a language, somewhere in your subconscious, you look at someone and you think, well, they're not quite as good as me, right? They're not quite as human. I'm not saying that's my mindset. I'm saying, like, deep inside somewhere, that's how we all look at each other. Governments have learned that on language alone, they can get their people to go to war and to kill and to destroy over that alone, right? They're different, they're dangerous, they're fearful. Everything that we've created in the USA, for example, all the safety, all the terror fears, our government is the terrorists. They have created these narratives to put us in fear, and when you go out and face that, everything changes. And the more you get past the barrier, the more you really get past the barrier. Our government is the problem. The USA is the terrorists. They are the Nazis. We are the slaves. And they're going to keep you from leaving at the rate we're headed. The wall's going up. All right, so we're gonna move on down. I'll keep you guys posted. The tacos are amazing, I gotta say that.